Greetings fellow members of the Esoteric Order of Gamers. Very exciting day today. I'm going to unbox Necromunda Dark Uprising, and look at the size of this box. Oh my goodness, it is huge. As you can see, it's filling the entire screen. It's a giant box, it's very heavy, and you can see what's inside on the back here. Lots of terrain. Look, I can't deny this box was obscenely expensive, and it was a real impulse buy, but I looked on Mighty Ape, where I buy most of my Games Workshop stuff, and I saw they only had 2 sets left, and I thought, this is never going to come back into New Zealand again. It'll be impossible to get. And I thought, what the hell? And I pressed the button. Ah! And then later I thought, what have I done? But still, Necromunda, I go back a long, long way with Necromunda. I bought the first set when it came out, way back when. And I've played a lot of it since. It's a fun game. You know, the systems are a little bit clunky now, but it's got a lot of atmosphere. It's great. I love this kind of fantastic terrain. It's also got 2 new gangs in it. There's the Palanite, what are they called? Palanite Subjugators and Enforcers, or whatever. And the Corpse Grinders, the beautifully named Corpse Grinders. So you get 2 new gangs, so that's a lot. You get lots of terrain, and also an updated rule book, because of course they've updated some of the rules since they released the Underhive set, which I also have. So, you know, very exciting, very indulgent. I feel a little bit guilty, but let's face it, games are my thing, and occasionally you've just got to go crazy and do a bit of a splurge. So let's unbox it together and see what you get in this huge box. And it really is quite a lovely box, isn't it? I mean, I can store lots of stuff in here, including the terrain. It's so big. Here we go. Oh, wow! Padding! Yay! Oh, that's not very exciting, is it? Right. Okay, we've got some templates, the classic templates that have been around for a long, long time now, for Warhammer 40,000. Don't know if it's used in the latest version anymore, but anyway, always good to have the templates. And here we go. Heaps of plastic. These are the terrain sprues. And this really takes me back to the days of original Necromunda, which had cardboard and plastic terrain. It was one of the first terrain things that Games Workshop made, actually. It was mostly cardboard, but then it had these square plastic pieces that put it all together and kept the cardboard together. And I've still got those pieces, and I still use them in games of Necromunda to this day. They're really good, but these look great. This is going to take a lot of painting, my goodness. And I've certainly been generous, though. Wow, at the price you really would want them to be. Nice bulkheads there, that looks great. Some stairs, which are lovely. Don't have any good stairs in my terrain collection, so they'll be good. Of course, these are compatible with the terrain tiles, the flat terrain tiles you can now get for Necromunda, which I haven't invested in. Again, a huge expense to get a whole pack of those, and I really don't think they're necessary. I prefer just to have one of my usual wargaming surfaces as a base. Wow, there's lots, isn't there? You do get a lot. There's an impressive amount of plastic here. Nice pieces of machinery there. There's a little control panel. More and more and more. Love these little details. Some ladders. Good to see. Yep, this is an astonishing amount of terrain, and really where most of the price of the box goes. You can buy all these separately, by the way. They come in several different separate sets that you can buy if you want to enhance your Necromunda games with plastic terrain. Then we've got the gangs, and look, they're really tiny pieces. They're all divided up into heads and arms and legs, torsos. A lot of construction to do there. I'm kind of more used to the snap together figures that you get in starter sets, so whenever I see something like this where it's made up of heaps and heaps of tiny pieces you can make in all different configurations, I always find it a bit daunting. But then I just tend to follow the standard configurations for these things. Quite a lot in the way of figure sprues. There's another two. Some nice stuff there. That torso's got legs. So there you go, all the plastic. We've got a rumpled piece of cardboard here telling me to buy more stuff, and I'm saying, no, I've got to pay this off yet, and it could take a while. There's the rule book, Gangs of the Underhive, Book of Peril, and all the different gangs you can get as well. And then down here, here's the new rulebook. So this has been updated a little bit, which is good. And lots of bases. Happy to see these are the moulded bases that you get with the other Necromunda sets. So they've got pre-built textures in there of gangways and things like that. There's a generous amount of dice and custom dice. A couple of larger bases. Lots of cards. Now, they give you a lot of blank ones which you can use to put your own gangs together, but there are standard setups as well, and then there's sort of tactic card arrangements. Let's have a look at these. And considering all these kind of things are usually sold separately in various sets, I mean, there's enough cards here. There's probably about 5 different sets here that you'd have to buy separately. Some of these are used for campaign games. And there's cards you can use during the game, tactics, corpse grinder tactics and enforcer tactics. That just give a little bit of extra flavour to the game as you play it. And then you've got all the stat cards. And these all look blank actually, which, you know, is kind of unnecessary, especially for someone like me who's a graphic designer and can make up things like this pretty easy for myself. But anyway, they're nice to have. There's a booklet here. Here's how to put together the Palanite Enforcer Patrol, the Subjugator Patrol. I wonder if I have to choose the type of Palanites I have. It looks like it's one or the other. I always find that really frustrating. Corpse Grinder Cult, the Columns and Walls for the Zone Mortalis, and Platforms and Stairs. So all the instructions for putting those together. Many, many hours of hobby time here. A little ad for a couple of Necromunda books. And then finally down the bottom, oh no, here's a range ruler if you want to use one of these. I only give you one unfortunately, but I still have one from my other Necromunda set. There's some transfers. And then here is the surface. Initially I was a little bit disappointed that this wasn't going to be a solid surface, but actually, this is quite large. Right there, that's not too bad. Of course, the fold marks will have to be back folded to flatten it out. And it's also a sort of slightly plasticized kind of material, so that's good. It's not paper. It feels a bit like sort of stiff shower curtain. So you've got this very red surface here, and then that one there. So how big is this? Yeah, it's not very big. It's 580 centimetres, which is just under 2 feet, which is a bit smaller than I'd use for a game of Necromunda. So I'm not too sure of the use of that, but anyway. There are other choices. As I said, I would normally use just my normal wargaming surface with the terrain on it, or you can use the plastic tiles, or you can use the cardboard tiles, though I do believe that this plastic terrain doesn't fit perfectly in scale with the original cardboard tiles for some strange reason. There you go. And I've got a nice sheet of quality counters, nice and thick. I was looking back at some old Games Workshop games the other day, very early ones, and they have very, very thin counters, so it's really good to see these days that almost every game manufacturer makes counters of a decent thickness. Here's a look at the new rulebook, and we've got a reference card there, quick reference. Get 2 of those in the back, which is nice. And there it is, chock full of Necromunda stuff, really I would not get around to using the tiniest percentage of all this information, but if one day it happens that I have time to run a Necromunda campaign, well, there's certainly lots of stuff here to do it. Well, that's what you get in a box of Necromunda Dark Uprising. Does it justify the cost? I'm not even going to say, you know, because it is crazy money, but it's also heaps and heaps of plastic. There's so many hours of hobby time and play time here. It's just crazy when you break it down, really. You know, I'm going to stop worrying about things like the price. If I choose to pay it, then I choose to pay it. If I don't, I don't. And you always get good quality. You can't complain about that. The plastic is amazing quality, best in the world. And yeah, I just think I'm kind of happy I bought it because I felt like sort of indulging myself. And as I said, Necromunda, one of my favourite games. I go back a long way with it. So hopefully I'll be able to show you a lot of this terrain made up when I finally get around to putting it all together and painting it. You'll find a Necromunda rules reference on my website. I may have to update it a little bit once I go through this rule book, but I think it's pretty much still good for play. That's at orderofgamers.com, the Esoteric Order of Gamers. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy all my videos, and there's lots of other things. Not so many battle reports at the moment because, of course, COVID-19 is making it difficult to get people together. My old mate Will, that I often do battle reports with, is over in Australia, so we don't get together at the moment and won't until all this madness is over. But I will try and do some battle reports with some other people I play games with. Subscribe to the channel, hit all notifications, I'd appreciate that, and I will see you next time. Thanks very much for watching. That's Necromunda Dark Uprising.